Hello. So for my Planning for a Diverse Learner project, I did a math lesson on lines and line segments. So this would be like an introductory lesson to the geometry unit in a grade 3 classroom. So my four diverse learners, I have Brendan, who is an emerging ELL. He's considered a SIFE, so he has interrupted education. He is from Puerto Rico, and he's pulled out 30 minutes a day. I have Madison, who receives special education services for reading comprehension. She's really artistic, a great singer, definitely an auditory and visual learner. Ethan, who is my dependent learner, so he comes from a low SES area. He doesn't really have a relationship with his dad right now. He sometimes is defiant towards authority, and he has a lot of responsibility outside of the classroom. And then last but not least, I have Jack. So he receives speech services. He has a stutter and he gets pulled out 30 minutes a day. And then he's also considered a CLD student. He's from an Asian cultural background. So due to those archetypes, he's very quiet, doesn't really speak unless he's spoken to, won't ask a question if he needs help, that type of thing. So my content objective is that students will be able to define, draw, and identify different types of lines. So they'll listen to a song for the purpose of identifying the parts and types of lines. They will speak and discuss about different types of lines and line segments. They'll read and complete an activity about lines and line segments on their Chromebooks. And they will write and draw different types of lines and line segments through the completion of a geometry flip book. And then that's just my English Language Development Standard 1, which is just geared towards like communication. And then the Standard 3 is towards the content area of math. So I will let me scroll down here. So I have students grouped in a homogeneous manner because I wanted to keep the effective filter low. So I have Ethan with Brendan, and then I have this other student, Carlos. So there's 6 students per table. So Carlos is bilingual, so that will assist Brendan in any language issues that he may have. Ethan I put at that table because I find that he does well in situations where he can contribute, like he's just thrives in situations where he's needed. So I thought that that would be good because he could then help Brendan also, and he's Dominican. So although Ethan isn't bilingual, he's Dominican and he understands a lot of Spanish. So I thought that would be good to help him, develop his language too. And then I have Jack and Madison at another table with one, he's the highest reader in the class, and then I have another really strong reader in the class. So the highest reader is really quiet. I wanted to put him with Jack because of his stutter. So as we know, like in potentially threatening situations, it could become worse, like he won't want to participate at all. So I find that just like putting him with someone that gives him a little extra time is beneficial to him. And then Madison, I find that when you put like higher readers with more like with struggling readers, it brings the struggling readers up because it's just modeling like fluency. It's modeling all the things that they need to develop. So that's that. For activating prior knowledge, I just went on to Google and just looked up pictures that just directly relate to them. So this is a temple, this is a guitar, a basketball, this is a street in Puerto Rico, and this is a Dominican flag, and this is just another street. So what I'm would have them do is look at the picture, and then they would point out all the different lines. So So basically, I did that because I wanted to activate their prior knowledge, but I wanted them to be engaged in the lesson, and I wanted it to be motivating to them. So that was just like a really simple, easy, quick thing. Then we would move into the brainstorming. So for the brainstorming activity, I would just have white paper on each table with like markers, and they would each table would say that prompt, where do you see lines in your everyday life? So I would write it in both Spanish and English on every table, because I think it's beneficial for all students to see it written two ways. But in regards to Brendan, he really needs to see it two ways. So basically that just there's no right or wrong answer to the brainstorming activity. It's just where you see lines in your everyday life. So giving them markers, they can write sentences, they can draw pictures, they can talk with the people at their table, they can write in whatever language they feel comfortable. It's just a really open-ended way for me to assess what my students know, and for them to, kind of self-assess and see what they know too, as well as collaborate with the people at their table. And then just letting them do it anyway allows you as a teacher to really look at the content. Even though you haven't taught anything yet, it really allows you to look at the content, which is the most important thing. As opposed to having students write one sentence on a piece of paper, and then that's how you assess what they know. That wouldn't really make sense, because like Madison has issues with reading, and Brendan is an emerging L, so like it wouldn't make sense. All right, so moving on. Then I would go into the task cards. So this is how I would teach the content. So I have an English set and a Spanish set. So there's 6 people per table. Each person would read one of the cards. So this is the English set. It just has the word definition and then the drawing. And then the Spanish set is literally the same exact thing, just in Spanish. So as they were reading the definition and then looking at the picture, they would be filling out this chart, definition, and then drawing. So to accommodate for the learners during this part, I would let them write the definition in any way that made sense to them. So for example, if Brendan wanted to write in Spanish, that would be okay. And yeah, so that's what they would do for that part. And okay, yeah, sorry. Next is the song. So for the song, I just find that like kids in general just respond really well to music. But specifically, like I said, Madison is a singer and she's an auditory learner. So allowing students to independently listen to a song multiple times, I think is really beneficial. And then I just found if you go to settings and then subtitles, and then you can hit auto translate. And then if I wanted to do Spanish, you'll find lines that are perpendicular. So it's like he would have a headset on, so he would be hearing it in English, but he would be reading that in Spanish. So that just like helps to reinforce the content. And so like for Madison, I would give her the closed captions in English. Okay, and then after that would be the IXL. So my school has this program, IXL. So this would just be a way for me to assess what they know. So even though there are words up here, there's a picture and 3 terms. So Brendan could get away with, like, if he was having trouble, there's a picture there to, like, you either know the picture or you don't. But I would also let him use his notes that he had taken. And I would also give him the option to, like, listen to hear the questions too. And I think that IXL is good because it it lets the teacher assess students, but it also allows students to assess their own understanding, because like once they finish that lesson, their score like pops right up, so they can see like, okay, I'm understanding this, or no, I'm not. I need to, work on this a little more. And then finally is the geometry booklet. So this would be like the independent practice. So this is the picture of the booklet. So it's page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would let Brendan and Madison use this last page. And obviously there's sentence frames here. And then it says sample and then my drawing. So students have to know what the word is, and then they have to draw it and match the picture. So they're matching and they're producing it. But I wouldn't let everyone use the word bank. I would only let Brendan use the word bank, because he would need that extra support. And I also think that he would benefit from using his notes. So I would allow him to use his notes while doing this part of the activity. And yeah, I think that, wait, let me see what I put down here. Yeah, I just found that the flipbook, with like the extra supports, like I've put, like, I would obviously give him extra time and stuff. Just really focusing on the content of what they know, as opposed to like how they present it. So I found that flipbook, it gave the definition, and then he had a choice from words and pictures. So it really just is really assessing the actual content, not if he can produce it. So yeah, that's my project, and I think that's it. Okay, thank you.